Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us for Embarking as a UI artist in the game industry by Chiquita, who is a senior UI artist at Century Games. As part of our series of talks for Global Game Jam Singapore 2024, organized by Kueh 22. So to share a bit about Chiquita, she is the company's senior UI artist and lead, and has led as many as 8 of her colleagues in doing UI for the company. So armed with 10 years of work experience, she would like to share in today's talk insights of how and what are the requisites needed to be a UI artist. And at the very end of Chiquita's talk, there will be a Q&A session where we'll go through any questions that you have posted to our Slido. Okay, so Chiquita, handing it over to you. Please take it away.
All right, nice to meet you. This is as you can see in the screen, this is the slides that I prepared for the talk today. This is the contents. So I will go to the first one, which is the short intro about me. So my name is Chiquita Lilian Tekiman, but it's very long. So in work setting, usually I ask my colleagues to call me Lilian. I've been working in Singapore uh, for 10 years. 8 of them is in the game industry. And then previously, within these 8 years, where I worked at Gumi, I was able to be contribute to the FFBE mobile game and Alchemist Code. And then I went to 12 Brave to help with the Valiant Force 2. So and now I'm working with Century Games. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to give this talk to them. So yes, I also like to drink coffee until it became my blood type. Um, and I've been playing Monster Hunter ever since their release day, which is in 2006. Yeah, and recently I'm playing Souls. Yeah, we call it Master Chief's game, but it's Souls game with guns. So if you're interested to follow, you can go to Instagram and follow here. And the right side Twitter. Sorry, I refuse to call it X, so I'll just keep it as Twitter. So we're going into the main attraction, which is the talk. So for the first part is the role of UI artist, and what is the common misunderstanding information about them. So I get a lot of this is all the feedback that I get from some of my uh, friends and people who I interviewed. So they thought that UI is just to create buttons, draw icons, or just to arrange title and pause screen, or then design banners and make things look nice. But in actuality, this is what we actually do. So in the role of UI artist in the game industry, based on my experience, is that we created user interface design system. It started from the very basic, which is the color scheme, what color scheme that we are using, until to the very font size, and then uh, how the size of the pop-up. So a lot. So what caters design system as a whole. Then we also design a visual that accommodate this UI system, from of course a button to an entire screen, like title screen, battle screen, pop-up, or maybe inventory screens, or maybe when it comes to like mobile game, we also do, especially with those with the summon system, we are also using like banners, the summon banners, and the button. And then also going to explore in all the UI game assets that we have created from the design system and the visual to the game engine and library within the game engine. And of course, the important part is to play our game, the game that we are working on, and to apply eagle eye. What are the things we need to improve, or the important part, which is to cooperate tightly with different departments, producers, game designers, client engineer, server engineer, FX, 2D, 3D, QA, and even the marketing people. And of course, we also need to make things look nice objectively. So we are going to go to the second part, which is the gearing up as a UI artist. So what are the skills that we are going to use? What are the software that we are going to use also? And what are the tools that we can pick up? What to get us with skills? So in terms of UI, skills that require for UI, as you can see here in this slide, screen that I share. It is brand design, layout design, digital painting, vector design. Of course, we need to do some UI UX research, and of course the organizational skill. And for software, when it comes to visual design, the visuals that how it makes a button and the items, icons, etc. We are using Photoshop, Illustrator, or Clip Studio Pen. Actually, any either, as long as it can help with the visual process. Well, right now, what is majority company use? Figma. And then followed by UX Spin, Adobe XD, and mockups. But truth to be told, 90% of the friend that I check also, my ex-colleague and my fellow UI artists, they're all using Figma. And for the game engine, we have Unity, Unreal, there's Godot, Game Maker, RPG Maker, libgdx, Coco Studio X, and of course, there are some companies that also develop their own game engine. As you can see, the one with the asterisk, it's like Unity and Unreal. That is the most commonly used in the game industry right now. So we're going to the third part, which is the path for budding UI artists. So like what actually the UI artists are actually doing, you know. So based on my experience, I can share you there are three areas, three types of companies. But this is based on my experience again. So the first one is game publishing. The second one will be game development, and the third one will be indie game. So for UI artists in game publishing company, so if you're working in the game publisher, for example, like Gumi, the one that I work at, I think Ubisoft also considered, but they are more on the developer side. Anyway, I need this company, as their name shake, they are in charge of publishing game to of course mostly worldwide. So the UI artists within this environment work mainly on assets related to localization, marketing, and quite minute. It's a really rare chance on the opportunity to improve or create a feature for the published game, because we are actually just focusing on publishing, on localizing and marketing. So below is the example of the workflow. So the game developer in this case is from the time I work at Gumi, the game publisher, the game is actually from Japan, so we work with game developer from Japan. They will also work together with the project manager. The project manager will reach out to translator, content designer, which is content designer is considered a game designer, but they're just focusing on the content that will be released for global, for example, because for as we maybe some of you all know, mobile games, when it comes to started in Japan, they will focus on Japan first, and then they will release global, and that is where the content designer came in. They will, of course, design the content or any features, or release, for example, release the heroes to the global, just exclusively for global. Yeah, and of course we work in marketer. And all these three departments will also come by to UI artists, which will tell us like, oh, we need to prepare the, for translator, they will let us know, oh, the banners that came from Japan will need to be localized. And then for content designer, they will tell us like, for example, oh, we need new icon, or we need new banners for the global players, and the marketer will tell us like, hey, we need UI assets that is given by the Japan side, so we can actually provide marketing assets that can be published. Then of course we will go to QA so that they can check, and when all is good, the content will be released. The game will be released and the content will be released. So the next one will be the UI artist and game developer. Game developer is, of course, they are focusing on developing game. So the UI artist within this environment work entire aspect, is the entire aspect of UI design, from the typing, designing with visual, and then to prepare the UI design system, integrating assets, to do in a lot of, basically I would say it's to develop a lot of features also that makes the game. Yeah. So this is an example where I work with 12 Brave. So we have a producer. The producer will to work together with project management, and then this project manager will definitely schedule slot in, and as you can see, there's a very huge rectangular, which in UI artist included. So technically, this is where we, as a UI artist, we work with cross department. So we definitely work with game designers. We also have to reach out to writers. We have to work with 2D, 3D artists, FX. In this case, right, for UI, we will reach out to them to like, hey, can you help us make the button when you press, there's some particles going on or some effects going on, you know. Yeah. And then when all the required features, assets that makes a game, including the UI assets, is done, we will pass it to QA for testing, and then that is where it gets released. Yeah. Then this is the indie game. This is where it's a combination, as I write in the screen. It is the all-rounder in the industry. They both, but do take note, because there are indie game companies that publish their own game, and then there are indie companies that will have a contract with the game publisher. So anyway, back to the indie game. So the UI artist in this environment, yeah, it's definitely a combination of developing and the publishing aspect. They also need additional skills to help with the game assets outside UI. So you would call this, I think it feels like if, since you are a student, and you're doing game jam, it feels like that. It feels like it's just a very small group of people, maybe 3 to 4 people. So definitely as the UI artist, maybe one in charge of UI artist, but they're also doing 2D characters art, they're also doing 2D background, or they're in charge of it as a UI artist, but also in charge of like doing 3D. It's really cross. I would say it's a mix, definitely. Yeah. So the workflow will be, of course, because due to the small size of indie company, there's always a producer which also blanket themselves as a project manager, and we also work with game designers, client engineer, 3D or 2D or 3D artists, 2D or UI artists. You can see sometimes like not sometimes, sorry. So as you can see in the screen, the QA and VFX and sound is, I have a dotted line, because usually what I'm aware, this is the two departments that do get outsourced. But I'm not saying that, oh, does it have to be always QA and effects? But no, this is just one example, because we can also outsource other places. And then after all is done, as you can see, there's no QA anyway. So sometimes the QA is we ourselves as an indie, because of the small company. Yeah. Then it will get to release once everything is okay. So for the next part is the part 4, about keeping up growth even after graduation. Yeah. So I think based on my experience last time, I don't have anybody who asks, you know. So as I gain experience, I want to share with the students over here how actually we can keep on growing after graduation. Yeah, so you can, this is one of the 3 of examples. First is on the aspect of project. You can do like what if UI overhaul project. So let's say we give an example of, there's an old game that I am interested, and I want to see like what if I make the UI into something that is interesting. For example, this UI is really minimalistic. design, I want to make it into a pixel design, and it's set up in some teaming will also happen. Yeah, this will help you to try different style. Then there's also group project. For example, after graduation, you still have in contact with your friends or group mates. You wanted to like, hey, can we try out like create our own games? Yeah. So group projects is good because that is where the actual processes and the challenging part came in, because you in a company setting, it will help you to prepare yourself to go into a company, because working in a company is like working like in a group project all year long. Yeah, so another one would be to participate in design contests. You can try out like different uh, from different websites. As we all know, sometimes ArtStation, for example, they also hold out some design contests, so you can try out to polish your skills or upgrade your skills there. And then, of course, there's also participating in modding community. I do know, like for example, there's this game, right, Fallout 4, and they also have a modding community. I'm just giving an example for Fallout 4. Recently, there's a Fallout London mod. Yeah, it is a mod. It's a game size mod, they say. Those people is a passion project for them. That is where you can actually join them and join these people who have the same passion for the game, and then like create a mod for it. And next one would be to keeping up a visual diary. Of course, as a artist, our life is mostly also like to need to draw a lot, need to paint a lot also, yeah. Then for the next aspect, which is the observe, is as the aspect itself says observe, means trying out different and understanding the software and game engines. Like for example, I'm not used to using Unity, so you can actually try out and mix and match all the tools in Unity and try out what can you push yourself with. And then next one will be to look out latest games and to see how the UI is being executed, because UI itself is based on trends. So maybe what we think looks cool now might not be in maybe upcoming 1 or 2 years. So that's where we are trying to see what are the trends and see how we can accumulate it into our own library. And then, of course, to check out different types of websites like ArtStation, Pinterest. There's a good website which I want to share with the students here, which is called Game UI Database. They have a lot of UI from console games to mobile games to handheld games. Yeah, it's a good place to go. And of course, there's also a website called Huaban. It's the Pinterest, but it's from China. This is for you to be able to increase your visual library. And of course, the last one, which is the portfolio, I would suggest at least to be able to update it every 6 months. And it would be good, let's say, related to UI. So you need to have at least UI portfolio pieces. So you should showcase more UI. But if let's say you want to try different aspect like 2D, of course you need to be more to have more portfolio pieces on 2D art. Yeah. So on the closing advisors, the first one would be please remember to find balance in pursuing growth, and remember to also take breaks, because when you push too much, you get burned out easily. And number 2 will be design is a journey, it's not a sprint, because you cannot just do things very fast. You need to take time. It's like a marathon, one step at a time. Sometimes, of course, there will be one day where, oh, I can jump very fast, I can have a lot of progress, but there will be also time where like we don't even make a progress. But don't be disheartened. Slowly and keep on working on it step by step. And number 3, please don't be shy in using reference. I get a lot of questions, especially on some of my juniors. Last time, they say, can I use reference? Yes, please use reference. And using reference is not a mistake. Using reference is not a crime. But do remember, it is a reference, not to copy paste, but to understand why you choose it as a reference. What makes the reference is interested to you, which part, so you study them and how you want to try to apply it in your pieces or work pieces. And of course, the number 4, we have a lot of things to do, a lot of targets that we want to aim, but it's better to master at least on one, because that is where your strength will come from. I would say you can be jack of all trades, but remember to have one area that you have strength on. So with that, I will close the talks and move it to a Q&A session. So please, you can ask anything, especially about UI or even about something else. I give it back to you, Jing Ding.
Yes, thank you so much, Chiquita, for your talk. Right, so I'll be sharing my screen. You all should see quite a few questions have come in. Yes, Chiquita, would you just like to start answering some questions?
Okay. First one, in an indie company, will the UI artist work as a 2D artist? What is the difference in job scope between two jobs? Okay, as I mentioned, right, in indie company, it's very small. Sometimes an indie company, it can start as like, you just be a bunch of your friends who have different aspects of skills. So yes, I agree. Yes, 2D UI artists can also work as 2D because as you get aware, right, UI itself has icons. They also have backgrounds, like the backings of the pop-up, they also have buttons. And there are those indie game company that will do a stylized. Actually, a lot of games also doing stylized. So you definitely want to make it stand out. So that's where the digital painting, because I believe the UI artist is, in this case, is actually like a limited work as just creating buttons and of course preparing some UI elements like HP, health bar, if the font, and then the buttons to attack, the button for skills, so you will be in charge of like you have to be in charge of like character design, of course. Then you will also maybe have to like draw some backgrounds. It really depends on the timeline that an indie company have. So the difference between the two job scope. So 2D artists, right, mostly they're really in charge of we are talking in spec. This question, what is the main difference job scope within two jobs? If it's an indie company, it's not really much of a difference because you have to fill in the blank. So the UI artist / the 2D artist will have to prepare a character design, we have background, then also need to lay out the UI, need to make sure the brand is right. So it's really like very gargantuan task that you have to carry on by yourself. But when it comes to a bigger company, for example, I will give example, I think, for example, Capcom. I think Capcom, they will definitely have a UI artist. They will be just in charge of like make sure the visual of the UI aspects element, the button, the pop-up. Sometimes they also do animation to make sure that this is correct. And 2D artists will just in charge of like this. I would say this is what makes the student of design, especially in the art department, right, very excited, which is to create characters, weapon, monsters, anything that makes the visual of the game that will appear with the play characters. Yeah, so that's the difference. Okay, next one would be, from your experience, might you have any tips making you have any tips for making a game UI portfolio, or any example you feel are a good reference? Tips on making game UI portfolio. From my from my experience, what I did is, there are some older games, especially like PS1 era, or even SNES era. Then you want to take that, and then you want to think like, oh, actually, what can I skin? Can I skin it or no? Or can I add something else? Like, so that's why when you go in, you can go into a game, and then look at what aspect of the UI that you find it like, actually this one I think can be better. So you can try out by either overpainting it, or you can also like vector it to create what you think is the best. So that's where as I mentioned previously, which is the what if project. What if the Barbie company, the company that make Barbie, create a game, an RPG game that is set in the medieval area, for example. Yeah. Then any example of a good reference? You can go to Pinterest. I can assure you, UI, right? All the UI is there. You can be more specific in the search for term. For example, like you want to do casual game UI, you want to do a pixel game UI, or even you just want to do a minimalist game UI. The example is there. Another way is to go to Behance also. Yeah, I forgot to ask to mention about Behance. Behance is also one of the website. It's called portfolio website for a reason. And also ArtStation, you can take a look, because some of the UI artists, right, they also put their portfolio in this website. So that is one of the example that you can look on to. Yeah. Let's say next one. UI artist seems like jack of all. Specialization, would you think is the most important for UI artist who stand out to employer do the most? Okay. Yes, I agree. UI artist is jack of all trades. You still remember, because we still carry the UI artist. It's called user interface, right? So it's better for you to actually have a specialization in branding, for example. So how do you make a brand? They will, in branding class, right, they will tell you like how to make a brand stand out, how to make a font to be associated with this brand, so that people know that, like for example Nike, we all know how Nike look like, what color Nike use, what are the product that Nike sells, so it's always carry. So it's also same as UI. So the most important as the artist is your ability to sell a brand and to lay out things, especially in cross-platform, because UI artists, right, we are not just, we just do mobile game can, no, we do console game, no. If you can be able to adapt different platform for the UI or the product of the game that you are working, that is the best. Then about the stand out or not, how to stand yourself out as a UI artist, right, is through your portfolio and through the connection that you have. That's why if you have, since you are at school, right, and you have lecturers, you have friends, and I think it's good for you to build up this connection. And sometimes when we definitely now there will be convention about games, that's where you try to make connection. Yeah, truth to be told, right, it's no longer just about like, I do art good, I make art look nice, I make portfolio look nice, then I get hired. No, it's 50-50. Yeah, it will be connection based. It will also be your experience. It will also be your portfolio. So So how to stand out the most? I'm sorry, I cannot answer much of this. Truth to be told, yeah. So next one, are there any other tools or resource would you recommend to UI artists? You can try Blender, because UI, right, doesn't mean it's always be 2D art. There's also like there are 4 types of UI, which is I'm sorry, I really kind of forgot about these 4 types, but there are UI that is separated from the game. There's a term for it. There's UI that is separated from the game, and then there's a UI that is in part of the game, and then there's UI that is part of the world, like how the actual character player see. Not the player, but the character that we play see. Like I think this example, the third example is like Dead Space. Dead Space have the health bar, because the camera view is actually at the back of the character. They have and you don't want to have the screen be cluttered by UI, right? Because it will break the immersion of the horror. So what the designers of that game do, the UI designers, they actually put the health bar embedded into the back of the spine of the armor, so you can see it's like a different types of bar. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the diegetic and not diegetic UI. Yeah. So come back. Yes, you can use Blender. You can use even Pixel. I know it's 2D and like it's like, but I thought Pixel is also 2D. Yes, I'm sorry, but Pixel is on a different genre itself. Yeah, Blender. There's a Pixel software also that you can find. There's also mixed media actually. Yeah, that you can try, because the limit of the UI, right, is as much as how wide your imagination you want to push for. Yeah. Sorry, so not sorry. I'm a bit anxious. So next question. Really enjoy your talk. Do you have any games recommendation or games which you feel really have a good UI? Games that have good UI. Monster Hunter. I'm sorry, I am biased towards it, but Monster Hunter World especially, right? That is something that is, you can see the difference when before they went into console and after they went into console. When they are initially they started as very stylistic UI that is really catered for Japanese market. You can see that it's very hand-drawn, very colorful, and then when they move it to console game, because console game they also need to cater localization, and then console game itself has a different point of view when you're playing, right? So that's where they managed to translate the stylized UI of the previous game to the Monster Hunter world that is in the console game. That's why nowadays a lot of people are, when they're trying to bring the stylized UI into Monster Hunter Rise, a lot of people actually don't really appreciate it. Not a lot, some people don't appreciate it. That's why a lot of people come back to Monster Hunter World, because it's the UI that really works. It's the UI that also says that, oh, this is the UI for this game. You will definitely know that it's from this game. Another game that I think have a good UI. Sorry, I played too much game until I forgot. I think generally games like DS, 3DS games or Windows, the games that is on smaller console handheld, right? They have a good UI because they work with very limitation. I think one of the example would be Atrian Odyssey. The UI is sorry, you need to get the latest generation. Don't go to the older one, because the older one is really, because of the very basic limitation, they cannot do much. So I think the third 3DS version is actually quite good. Yeah, but again, just want to let you all know, this is my recommendation. But I believe there is still always be a better game that be better UI, because different people will have different opinion on the UI. So next one will be which game engine you use in Century Games. Well, this is not. I'm not going to. It's not a secret. Everybody actually using Unity, so it's not just Century Games. There are. Remember, I mentioned that there is some company-specific game, some company-specific game engine. Yeah, that, for example, Ubisoft, they have their own engine. Then Final Fantasy, Square Enix, they have their own engine also. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we are using Unity. What's next? What can I do to stand out as UI artist? How to stand out as UI artist? I had to break it down to you. UI artist, right? Is like urban designer. Technically, if there's nothing wrong, that is the goal that you're looking for. No one complain about your design. That's the goal. Then the moment we shine, right, is actually when our design, our UI, right, have a lot of problems. Yeah. So to stand out as UI artist is actually there's nothing much that you can do stand out so much as a UI artist, but you can stand out as a designer. So UI is one of your aspects, you know. So for example, you can tell them like, hey, you know what, I'm very good at UI, you know. Yeah, I can do layout, I can do branding, and it really shows in your portfolio. Yeah. But again, I can also do 2D, I can also do 3D, for example. Yeah. Next one. Can we hear about some of your experience or work challenges and how you overcome design challenges and booking? This is gonna be a long story. What challenges? I guess the hardest cross department, especially in a bigger company. Different company, different department will have their own workings, you know. So what we need to do is we really need to reach out to this department. So I think the one that I was given opportunity to lead a team of 8, 2 of them being overseas designers, and I have to work with different departments from all types of department, the game design, client, producers, and it is a lot. I have to take care of their. I have to ensure their work align with the goal that we are looking for, and I also have to make sure that the information being relayed to other department from other department or into other department be correct. So how I overcame it, I would say yes, I overcame it with my sheer will, but the most important part is the people that I'm surrounded with. They are good people. They really value teamwork. So, and they're not shy to reach out to other department. And in the case when I'm unavailable due to time constraint, my team, my UI team, definitely come and fill in me about like what's happening. So we always try to keep everybody's on the same information level as possible. And yeah, and I think like having an open-minded, because you also need to know like other department, like I mentioned earlier, they have different workflow, and sometimes the information might be not complete for now. So we need to understand their point of view. We also need to be able to communicate. So a lot of miscommunication may happen. That is where we in this case for me, I will have to exercise my sound judgment to understand how other department went through and how we can work together from the UI department, what can we give and what we can share, and so make sure that the product sends well. Yeah. Of course, there will be time where there are times also where we have 20 different designs and all of them is rejected, sadly, which sometimes can be very frustrating because we have limited time, we have limited resources, you know. So what happened was that I had to dig in deep with my team. Again, I cannot work on myself So I'm very grateful. It's very good if you work in if you get a chance, or the students here, if you get a chance to work in a department, right? And then you can like work as a team. It's very the most valuable things that you can get is a team that really have a good teamwork, because that will help you survive all the weird odds. Yeah. So communication is important. Teamwork is important. It's very cliche lah, but yeah, that's how it is. How we work in the company. And regarding the story about the 20 design got rejected, yeah, we had really had to dig deep again, and then we have to reach out to a different department, and we have to make sure. Then we just try to shift around different solution that is on common sense, not just like I don't know, just throw. No, it's really have to go back and rethink again what is actually we are looking for. And good news, it got accepted like the design, thankfully, so we can move on to another feature. Yeah. Next question would be, do you need to define the UX flow, etc. before making the UI? Yes, definitely. Of course, that's the most important part. Because if it's like UI, right, it has the preparation aspects, which is the wireframing, the prototyping, and then the scheme, which is the visualization. So if we focus just on the visual, then after that we realize, oh my god, this doesn't work. Then we have to go back to the prototyping. Then during the prototyping, we didn't think about the prototyping and wireframing is nearly the same actually. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be wireframing / prototyping and visual design. So you don't want to keep coming back to like just because like, oh, I start with the visual first, after that because of the flow is questionable, so I have to go back here. You see the time is being wasted because you keep coming back and forth there. So remember, just like if you want to build a house, you need to make sure that the frame is correct, right? If not, after all, you pour the cement, then one knob broke down, then like, it's time wasted. Yeah. Next one would be, how long does it cost you to finalize a game UI feature? Depends, really. This is a depending on how big is the feature. Sometimes, yeah, how long it costs you, how long it costs me. I'm not sure how long it costs me though, because I've been paid by my company. But I guess this question is more like, how long does it take for us to finalize a game UI feature, I guess? Can I go that way? I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I will take it. How long does it take for me to finalize a game UI feature? If the feature is an addition on top of existing feature, let's say you wanted to like, I want the player to be able to sort the inventory, for example, because maybe initially we don't have the sorting system. On UI side, it may definitely take lesser than 3 days, but because that we just focus on the visual and then we put it in, and then that's where the client engineer and server and game designer we have to work with, tell them that, we're gonna do this sort, right? Game designer will request for the sorting system in inventory, then they will tell us, how does it sorted with, is it a bit number or what or not. Then it may take definitely longer than 3 days. So visual wise, it can be less than 3 days, but in terms of outside that, it may take 1 week, or even it can take 3 months. Yeah. So this is a one of the common misconceptions. If I just create the UI, everything is fine, right? I just add button here, can, right? No problem, right? That's a trap. So as a UI artist, if you work as a UI artist, right, please remember, adding a button does not equate to 1 day work done. Because behind that one button, right, it may call different function, it may call different text, it may call different database, it may even change how an existing function is, which that's why it's very, very scary. If you just started a project, maybe changing a button, not an issue. Imagine if you're already in the last stage of the project where you wanted to release, right? Then you realize that, oh no, I need to change the button, right? That will make a very costly time that you have to pay, you know. So yeah, that's the question. Next one will be, is there anywhere which we can find freelance UI artists or any UI artists which you recommend to work on small games like Game Jam? Wait, is there any you wanted to find a freelance UI artist? To find a freelance UI artist, you can Fiverr. Really go there because you need to take into like, especially when it comes like to work on small games. If it's game jams, right, I would suggest you can, because game jams, the idea is to make a game that is at least workable, you know. So you don't, sometimes, right, the polishing aspect of the UI may not be required. Yeah, you can actually reach out to some people. That's why, as I mentioned, right, in the indie game, you just need to bring in people who have 2D artist capabilities, right? You know, to help you draw all the things that you want them to draw, because that's where wireframe and prototyping is, and then that's where you get the UI for game jam. For small games, right? No, sorry. Oh yeah, that's for small games like game jams, you know. Yeah. You can reach out to Fiverr. I don't know how long they will take to take or freelancing because they might not know your schedule, and they might not even list out the schedule. Yeah. So another way, if you wanted to, if you have a little bit of budget, you can go and find UI kit, because let's say Unreal have their own marketplace, right? You can go there and pay a bit of money, you know, to get the UI that you wanted, because a lot of people also already have the UI kit. You know. There's also free UI kit also that is available in the internet, you know. So don't have to, like, for example, oh, I don't have enough budget for this game. Yeah, there's a free UI kit. Okay, last question, I think. How do you structure a design system in Figma? What distinguishes a design system for gaming from one for the web? How structuring a design system in Figma, both in terms of mobile website and website to a game, they have similarities. You still need to think about, they have similarities in font. They have like font sizes, font naming, you know, like you need to tell like, oh, this is the tagging, like for example, the sizes is, for example, 24 is considered as a body. By the way, this information you can just type in on Google. Usually they will tell you like what are required, the basic of design system that is required to make a UI. It's available for free. Yeah, so you can go and check it out. So comeback is that you structure it in base of course you need to create the font. You need to make sure of the sizes of the button also. You don't want 10 different sizes, right? For for a UI, you know, 10 different button sizes for a UI. I think you might have to. I think you will vomit, because like the amount of buttons that you have to manage. Then you can also prepare the theme. It's like a brand 25 different spectrum. No, we try to make sure at least maybe minimum at least 2, and then the maximum will be 8, for example. So that's and then in Figma, what all this why is it called design system? Actually, Figma is a prototyping software, so you can actually also start preparing the UI component. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Just go into Figma. Just try out. There's a lot of tutorial available in YouTube that you can find out. Yeah. And then, okay, so the distinguish what is distinguished of the design system, right? Between game and web is definitely not the UI visual of the game in game is more stronger. So and it's not limited to just they have more stylization in terms of game lah. But there's one thing I remember is that the sizes of the font definitely different, because what works in phone doesn't mean it works in what works in mobile may not work in, because they have again there's different density. Yeah. So I guess that's all for that. What makes it distinguish is the sizes, the font sizes. The second one will be the stylization of the font, because the stylization of the visual. Yeah, because website will have their own limitation. You know, like you cannot make it too much of a difference to make sure that it doesn't clash with the branding. But on game, right, you can try to be stylized, but at the same time you can push the branding of the game. Yeah. Okay, and I think that's all. For the question. I hope you all have a good time listening to me. Yeah. Jingting, I think I will give it back to you, right?
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Chiquita, for your talk and taking your time to answer. There were so many questions. And yeah, you really really went and explained each question so well. So yeah, you shared really candid advice and interesting experiences. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Chiquita.
Thank you so much. Yeah, don't worry. If you cannot get like, hey, what's your Instagram, Lilian? Like, it's okay. You can just find Chiquita Lilian Tekiman. Then you can see the Instagram. Yeah. Thank you so much for the chance to talk.